And we're going to go ahead and log in. And then what we want is we want to find some content that we can import into the platform. So I'm going to go ahead and jump onto this website, which is called Top Thema mit Vokabeln in German. Let's assume that we're learning German. This is a channel, you might call it, or a series from the Deutsche Welle. And they have on a pretty much daily or at least weekly, every few days, they publish a new article on here. And these stories generally have to do with current events in Germany. So we're just going to kind of look through these and see if anything looks interesting. How about we go with this one here? Let's see what this is all about. Dauerstress durch Lärm. I'll use my handy Google Translate extension here. Okay, constant stress from noise. So it's clearly about animals and constant stress from noise. So let's assume, however, that my level in German is not quite good enough yet to be able to understand all of this. That means it's perfect for TranslationCubed. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And then I'm going to go ahead and open up the manuscript. And at the bottom here, I'll see the manuscript, which I'm then going to go ahead and copy and go back to the TranslationCubed page. Then I want to click here on my content, and I want to click here on my texts. One thing I have to remember, is I need to make sure to choose the right language combination. In this case, I speak English and I'm learning German. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that, and then I'm going to go here. Notice that the UI is in the language that I'm learning. So this UI is in German because I'm learning German as a native English speaker, as we saw here. But if I scroll over any of this content, then it shows me a translation in my language. So that just helps me to learn German a little bit faster because I get immersed in German on the platform. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to click on my texts, and then you want to copy in that text that you just copied out, that we just copied out of the Deutsche Welle webpage here. And in this case, I'm going to take this because this is the title, and I'm going to put it up top. But let's go ahead and actually put it in the text as well. And I'm just going to put a period after it to make sure that the system separates it from the sentence after, sentence following. And I'm going to go ahead and hit import. And that's going to import this text into the TranslationCubed system. And you'll see in a moment that it's going to go ahead and translate everything in a variety of different ways. So the first way in which it translates the German text that we just imported is it shows me the English by itself. So we call this read L1, which means you're reading in your first language. L1 is language 1, so your native language in this case. So the goal here is for you to simply read through this text, which you imported in German. It's been translated into English. And now you're going to read through this and you're going to get a general idea of what this text is about, which will be very easy for you because you're reading in your native language. We do this because we want to prime our brain in order to learn the German vocabulary more effectively later by giving us a general idea of what it is that we're going to be learning. So once I've done that, which shouldn't take me very long, in this case, so maybe we'll just read the first few lines here. Constant stress from noise, so that's what the title is. Noise and disturbing noises are an increasing problem, especially in large cities. Too high a noise level causes stress in people and animals and disrupts the ecosystem. Maybe one more line. Whether loud ambient noises are perceived as noise varies from person to person. Okay, after we've read through that entire text in our native language, we're going to go ahead and go to the second stage, which we call Listen L2. And what that involves is listening to the second language, the language 2, which in this case is German, but we want to read along in English. Why? Because we want to associate what we're hearing with the actual meaning. But we're not going to look at the words in German yet because we want to get our ears used to listening to the German before we look at the German text. the most important reason why we do this is because we don't want to affect our pronunciation. We want to hear the words before we actually see them. So we can listen here on the Linguathor TranslationCubed platform.
Dauerstress durch Lärm. Lärm und störende Geräusche sind vor allem in Großstädten ein zunehmendes Problem.
However, I generally recommend that you actually do this stage using the original audio. So what we would do is we go back to the audio here and we would hit play.
DW Deutsch lernen mit dem Top-Thema.
Dauerstress durch Lärm. Lärm und störende Geräusche sind vor allem in Großstädten ein zunehmendes Problem. Denn ein zu hoher Geräuschpegel führt bei Menschen und Tieren zu Stress und bringt das Ökosystem durcheinander. Ob laute Umgebungsgeräusche als Lärm empfunden werden, ist von Mensch zu Mensch unterschiedlich. Den einen
Okay, I'm not going to play the entire audio because that would make the video quite a bit longer. However, the idea, as you can see, is that you're simply trying to listen in German and follow along in English. Now, given that your level is not quite where it needs to be in order to follow along exactly, don't worry about it. Simply listen in German and do your best to follow along with the text simultaneously. If you find that you're not capable of actually doing this, that's not a problem. It entirely depends on your level. You simply jump straight to the next stage, which we call dual read, dual lesen. And here you actually have both together. You have both the German and the English at two different levels. If you've seen my video about TranslationCubed, then you're familiar with these levels. The first level is called level 1, and that is the translation of the sentence into your native language. So we have the original, the language, the second language, and then you have your first language, L2, L1. That's the first level within TranslationCubed. The second level is this word-for-word translation. So the word Dauerstress means constant stress. In German, it's one word. In English, it's two. Durch can mean through, but it can also mean due to, and Lärm means noise. So if we continue looking at the next sentence, then right away we see that German and English are very different. We can not only see that German appears to be longer, but that the grammar is quite different. So the idiomatic translation of this sentence would be noise and disturbing noises, or disturbing sounds really, because Geräusche means sounds, are an increasing problem, especially in large cities. But in German, literally it says disturbing noise and disturbing sounds are above all, or before everything. So especially, vor allem means especially, as we can see here, in Großstädten, in major cities, an increasing problem, right? So right away we can see that the grammar of the two languages is different, and we are kind of made aware of that by the fact that we have these literal translations, the second level translation at the top here. So if you were not able to follow along with the text in the second stage, that's quite all right, then you would do the same thing here. So you would simply take it back to the beginning and listen and read along in both languages. Now, given that, oops, I wanted to go back here, and we can actually close these because we don't need them anymore. So given that you have done that at least once, so you've listened to the original audio and you've read along with the text, then what you want to do is spend a little bit of time with the text itself, with the bilingual text itself, and you want to actually get a feel for the meanings of the various words. So I'm going to take my time here. I'm always going to read the sentence translation first, because that gives me an overall view or an overall sense of what the sentence, the full German sentence means. And then I'm going to go ahead and look at the meanings of the individual words. I can also listen to this sentence if I like to.
Denn ein zu hoher Geräuschpegel führt bei Menschen und Tieren zu Stress und bringt das Ökosystem durcheinander.
Okay, and of course, if I want to, I can also simply do this. I can hide the English and just listen to it and read the German, and then see if I can actually remember the meaning of the sentence. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my time and go through and really get a sense of the meanings of each one of the words here, and especially the meanings of the sentences. And once I feel like I've got a good handle on that, then I'm going to move to the next stage, which is L2 read. So you're going to be reading entirely in the L2 and listening as well if you'd like to. And at this stage, I am finally going to test myself and see how much more I have learned. So here I want to actually read through this, and I want to listen to it, and I want to see, okay, do I now understand these sentences? So Dauerstress durch Lärm, do you remember what that means? Constant stress through or due to noise. Lärm und störende Geräusche sind vor allem in Großstädten ein zunehmendes Problem. Noise and disturbing sounds are, especially in large cities, an increasing problem, etc., etc. You don't have to be perfect here. That is to say, you don't have to remember 100% of everything, but you should shoot for something between 60 and 80%. You should definitely shoot for understanding more after you've gone through step 3 than before you went through step 3, right? So we're looking for that sense of success, that we have learned more vocabulary. And because we have everything translated for us, it's very, very easy to do that. Okay, and then the last stage, which I call ART, which stands for Active Reverse Translation, or in German, aktive Rückübersetzung, you have the opportunity to try to recreate these sentences from memory. So notice that you can only see the English. In this case, you see the English sentence. And in this case, you see the translations of the individual German words. So your goal here is to recreate the German sentence from memory after you've listened to it and read the text a few times. So can you remember these words? What was constant stress in German? Dauerstress, through or due to, durch, and noise was Lärm. So I can check my answer by doing this. I can also show the original sentence, or I can try to say it out loud, Dauerstress durch Lärm, and then play the audio to check my answer.
Dauerstress durch Lärm.
There you go. Let's see if we can do the next one, which is a longer sentence, so a little bit more complicated. Always want to read the sentence, the full sentence first, before we jump up here and try to recreate the sentence. Noise and disturbing noises or sounds are an increasing problem, especially in large cities. So let's see if we can do this. Lärm und störende Geräusche sind vor allem in Großstädten ein zunehmendes Problem. Ein zunehmendes Problem. So, and then I can, of course, once again, show the full sentence here. I can listen to it, etc. So my goal here is to be able to recreate each one of these sentences from memory using the first 2 letters of each one of the words as a clue, as a hint, in order to help me to essentially to kind of jolt my memory, to give my brain a little bit of additional help. So I'm not having to remember every single thing off the top of my head. And you'll find that even though you're getting these hints, that it is still very, very helpful towards promoting a memory and helping you to remember not only the words themselves, but also later on you end up having a much better sense of the grammar without actually having to study any grammar rules, because you've been practicing recreating the sentences exactly as they would be said by a native speaker. Okay, so my goal by the end is to be able to recreate each one of these sentences. But even if I'm only able to do that 50%, let's say, it's still going to be better than I was able to do it at the beginning before I used this system, this 5-step system. So that's the long and short of using the TranslationCubed platform. The great thing about using this system is that you can jump straight into any content that you want from the very first day of learning. So let's just say today's day 1 of learning Icelandic. If you want, then you just put in Icelandic there, switch it to Icelandic, start importing texts, and you can start learning right away. We are working constantly on the platform, on improving the platform, and we very much look forward to seeing as many people as possible using it, because it is let's just say a passion, a work of from the heart, and it is really a great help to anyone who's looking to learn a language faster. I use it myself, and I use it with all of my students, and those who have failed with other methods have a great deal of success with this one. We're also constantly adding new content to the library. So if you enjoy watching, for example, YouTube videos, you also have the opportunity to do that here in combination with the text directly on the platform. So without further ado, I would say thank you all for watching this video. I hope to see you in the Telegram group. If you have any questions, please do let me know in the comments, and I very much look forward to seeing you inside TranslationCubed and helping you to use the app to achieve your language learning goals in 2024. Thanks again for watching. Everybody take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.